Um, Hi, it's, what is it? It's Sunday, Easter weekend, the long weekend. And I'm still in the hotel, and I have some updates. And I'm trying to calm my anxiety right now, so I'm really shaking. And but I have taken something for my anxiety, so I'm hoping it'll kick in soon, or I actually might have to take another because I took it almost a half an hour ago and I'm still, very shaky. So, what's triggered this off today is um, I got up and I'd asked the front desk about, possibility of staying till the 12th because I have an in-person doctor's appointment with my family physician on the 12th at 10 a.m. and it's not very far from here because I have found a place to stay for a little while at my girlfriend's, but she lives way, way out. So, like, that's like multiple subways and go train things and everything, So, I was hoping to just do the 12th, then I go up there, and then I'm not trying to get back in to see my doctor. So I don't know how I'm going to proceed with this now. I think I might try giving them a call tomorrow morning because now I'm going to have to leave since my card has declined now. Sorry, did I even go into that? Oh my God, I'm so frazzled. Whew, and rightfully so, but okay, get it together. So I went downstairs this morning to, like I said, extend it to the 12th, Tuesday. And they ran my card and it said declined. My card has never been declined, ever when I've used it. It has sometimes said something like you're over your limit for the day or something of that type of sort, but never ever declined. So that can only mean to me that my son has gone to and cut it off. I really don't know what it is that I have done so wrong. I haven't physically hurt anyone. I haven't manipulated anybody. I haven't been cruel to I really don't understand. I was angry at my mom a couple times while I was there, and rightfully so. We have a strained relationship. This is a woman who the only way I can have a relationship with her is if I accept to a certain extent that she has a relationship with my brother who sexually molested me through my childhood. So I try to put conditions on it of at least don't talk about him around me, don't bring him around me. I don't want to hear his name. I don't want to hear anything. If you want to have a relationship with me, Mom, please. So I know my mom is truly losing her cognitive abilities. And to what exact degree, whatever, we've only done one test. But the test came up showing that she was moderately to borderlining, it's getting bad. And but if it's dementia, if it's Alzheimer's or whatever, we don't know. So, it is frustrating to be around somebody that's like that. Anybody who has, you know what I mean? They ask you the same questions over and over and over. And you know what? That's not so bad, actually. I can, that's not what triggers me, but what triggers me is because she's forgetting, she's bringing up my oldest brother C and his wife M. You know, and I've had to keep saying, Mom, we don't talk about them, please. And I even at one point I said, let me leave. You know what I mean? This, you know what I mean? I'm getting upset with you with this because it's triggering me. You know, and maybe it's best if I just go so that neither one of us are getting upset. And she begged me, no, no. And I swear, she begged me, please, no, I'm sorry. I will try harder. And just tell me, just like say, Mom, you need to go have a rest, or I think you need to lay down for a little bit. She even told me to say that to her if she does it again. Okay. You know, so I stay. And then this thing comes up. I think I said this all in the other video. I can't remember, but the sister-in-law is sending me information that I owe my mother so much on a cell phone bill. It's $260 some dollars and some cents. And I get this message while I'm in my mother's apartment. So, of course, I go to my mom and why? What are you doing? I'm right here. Why would you be talking to her on the phone and get her to send me a message when I'm right in the next room? You know, what's going on with you, Mom? You know, and I said, Mom, please, you know how I feel about her. And I did try to get on the phone with her and have a civil conversation with the Maria one. Because my mom did apologize. Yes, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. You were here in the room. You were here. You're right. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, so I will stay, Mom. You know, because I was going to leave. And she was like, no. I was like, okay, I will stay if you tell her when she calls that, you know, she shouldn't have done what she did. You know, Stephanie was right here. Why was I getting you involved? You know, that wasn't fair to her. So I apologize for that. And in the future, if I do something like that again, just tell me I need to talk to Stephanie. Because I work out things with my mom. You know what I mean? We have always, you know, she has lent me money at times. I have lent her money at times. You know, over the years, we have always done this. This is part of our dynamic. This is not anything fucking new in any way. And, you know, sometimes I haven't paid up with something. And this was a little bit more so before the squirrely thing started happening. Since that started happening, we were doing a few different things, but I was making sure I was writing down, documenting, you know, what was happening. And I would get her to document it in her book. You know what I mean? So that there would not be a confusion if she saw X amount missing or where did this money come from, whatever. Like, you know, we both would have a note on that date stating, you know, what it was about. That, you know, we'd ordered some things off of Amazon. I was paying for them. Even some of the items were for her, whatever. You know, and so Mom, I put 4,000 on your Visa today. Can you please make note of that? Mark that down, et cetera, et cetera. So, like I said, you know, we've done, that's always been part of our relationship. You know, I know it's gotten dicier now with things here, but I was still keeping track of those things and taking care of things. And when it came to the cell phone, I actually said to my mom that, you know what, look, your bank card doesn't work in your laundry room downstairs. Mine will. How about I load up the card? You know, you got like a zillion loads of laundry to do. I'll load up on my card, you know what I mean? And then, you know, I've paid for this already, you know what I mean? How about we call that, are you good with that? Like we, you know, this with this kind of adds up to that. Blah, blah. Oh yeah, okay, that works. Yeah, that works. Okay, but write it down, Mom. You know what I mean? Go write it down and I'm going to go write it down. You know, okay, sometimes she wouldn't, sometimes I'd have to remind her and then she would, sometimes I'd forget, you know what I mean? And, you know, it wouldn't get written down. But I'd say that on the whole, you know, a good 90% of things got written down. But anyways, back to my son. So my son and I have a company. together. It was actually my ex-boyfriend's and mine, but I had become extremely ill um, down in the Dominican, and I had started coming up here for trying to get help. I had many doctors. I have got documents to prove. I've been into so many different places, pain management and what's the tropical disease place, the whole 9 yards, because I had contracted chikungunya in the Dominican Republic. And I was still having kind of like what long COVID is, even though the original thing that made them sick is more or less gone from their body, they're still having residual um, uh, problems. That's me. So, um, anyways, and then COVID hit in, and I had just come from the Dominican to help out my mother who was getting out of the hospital. So this was 2019, just going over into 2020. And I wasn't supposed to come back from the Dominican at that point. My son had come down there for, I don't know. It was supposed to be to help me, because my dog had passed away on me. But anyways, I said, when I got word that mom was that sick that she was in the hospital, I said, I think I need to return back with you. And he said, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, you'll stay at my place. So that's what we did. We came up. And then that's when COVID really took over. Like it was just like, everything's shutting down, nobody can go anywhere, this, that, everything. Like I'm locked in. It was just like, oh no, what is this about? Like most people, you know what I mean? Like it shook the world of, the world. So anyways, I am now staying with my son because I don't have a home up here anymore. I had a home in the Dominican. And in the Dominican, that home was purchased through a company that Stephen and I owned, as well as there was another company that Stephen owned himself, sent money through to purchase the home in the Dominican Republic. Okay, now when I'm up here and I got extremely sick, I'm still sick from the COVID, but with the whole COVID thing hitting in, my depression and my anxiety went to the stratosphere. Because then my mother ended up having to come and do lock-in with me and my son in his 2-bedroom condo. It's a nice sized condo and all, but the three of us, and my mother was having severe panic attacks every day. My son couldn't deal with this, so this was on me. And I have a psychiatrist too, Dr. D. And I'm talking to him through all this, and I'm just like, I don't know how much I can keep doing this. Like I love my mom, I want to help. It's not, but I can't, it's triggering me. Like I need calmness around me, and so I'm trying to help her because I want to help her, and it's so sad to see her so scared. But at the same time, I'm not all there. Like I'm in a bad place, but anyways, I tried, but it seemed like the more that I tried and the more that I started going a little kind of crazier or frantic and crying more often and everything, that was really stressing my son out. That he was just like, I don't need this. I'm like, what do you think I needed to? But so finally, since my son would not assist in any way, I have to remember to say, yes, he had a couple of moments where he sat down with her and talked with her for about 15, 20 minutes or something. But, and one time on the phone, he helped talk to her while she was having a panic attack while I drove in a car over to her house. Okay, so I was burning out. I was telling Dr. D, I was like, I just, I think I feel like I'm gonna have a breakdown. Like I can't keep doing this. Like, and then I had reached out at that point to my brother's wife. It wasn't the best of situations, but he's the closest person, and I thought, okay, well, maybe if she's there, she can keep him. I would not have let my mother go out there if my brother Curtis was the only one in the house. No way. um so they took her and kept her, I can't remember how long, whatever, which gave me a bit of time. But I was still drowning. I was still drowning, with the level of anxiety, with the level of tension, that I have with my son. My son um, highly dislikes me for some reason that I really don't know, and I've tried asking, and I don't even think he really knows. Yes, there's something that happened in my childhood, or his childhood, that I wasn't the best parent, but I didn't beat him. I didn't, not, I fed him. He had a roof over his head. He went to summer camps, winter camps. He got tutors for school when he wasn't doing well. I paid for 10,000 for him to go to university. I never verbally abused him because I grew up with verbal abuse. And so I swore I would never do it. And, but there's this other whole little underlying thing that it has actually just dawned on me of what is really, really going on in this scenario. Because when I've been able to sit back, because even my Dr. D can tell you this, like the last 10 years of my life, or more than 10 years, what am I talking about? At least the last 15, that I have been saying to him that the relationship with him and I just, it gets strained more and more all the time, no matter what I do for him. No matter how I try to help, I stay out of his way. I stayed in my bedroom in his house. I barely came out. I went into the kitchen to get food, and I returned to the bedroom to eat it. I stayed in my bedroom as much as possible. I never ate in the kitchen or anything like that. And before that, I actually was cooking and cleaning for him and taking care of his dogs, because at that time, my business was my villa down in the Dominican Republic that provided me with an income because of renters. COVID's here, no renters. So there's no money. But with my manager, Renee, who lives down there, we started to rent it out to some people that we usually would never consider renting to. But because we just needed money to be able to pay the bills in the place. So I was still trying to manage all of that at the same time. One of my employees decided to take me to court in that period of time because she wanted to be liquidated and I couldn't liquidate her. So they repossessed my car. My other dogs died. The guilt I have. For that, I don't know if I'll ever get over. And my son even said to me, "You didn't try hard enough to get him here." And I did. It feels like my son just, never wasted an opportunity to knock me somehow. Some way. So now living there for those 2 years, I felt so useless. I was very suicidal most of the time. Anyways, there's more to that story, but I'll tell that another time. It just. I want my animals back, especially right now. They were my comfort animals. They were with me always. They were actually my emotional support animal. Doctor. Okay, yeah. So now my son hates me so much. I had my cell number in my mother's name because of the whole COVID, and I didn't have a job and stuff, and she offered to help me, and I was very appreciative of that.